Like if you're gonna be honest and say, "Hey, Strick, you're the greatest to ever do it," you might as well say it loud, Brant. You mind
Say
saying
it
that again
for the people in the back.
for the
Strick, you're
people
the
in the back
greatest. You're the
ever?
greatest at doing this ever.
And what exactly I'm the greatest at, I don't know. But it's always good to hear that. I have none other than Brant Collins with me today on the stream show. Brant, you're looking good, sir.
Thank you, thank you. It's been a while.
Man, if I can grow my hair out and just lay it back to the back, I promise you I would do it.
Hey, I cut it off just recently, so it was super long. I don't know. I had never had long hair, so I just thought I'd try it. So just something different.
I've never
When
had
you,
long hair either.
yeah, when you get 53, you're like start trying to figure out who you are.
Hey, for people that may not know, Brant Collins is one of the first, well, the first co-host of the stream show. Like we built this thing together, you know?
Well, I thought I was the
Um,
host and you were the co-host.
oh, it was never that way.
Oh,
Oh, that's funny. But we had we were co-hosting, so co-host all the way around.
right.
And we started, how long ago was that, Brant?
Well, that was middle of COVID, right? Wasn't it?
Man, I'm not really sure. Salute to the guys from Arkansas. Uh, these
Yeah, it was
skills.
2020. It would have been 2020. So, yeah, we've been doing it for a long time. You've been staying straight with it for a long time.
Was it 2020 when we started?
I thought 2020 was COVID. That's when I was home and I had all the time, and we got into because I was home. I was
Right,
home.
I think it was January 2021.
Well, when we started, but I'm saying we met in during
Oh yeah, we
COVID.
definitely
Yeah,
met in
yeah, yeah.
2020, and that 5 hour you were on the
Hmm.
very first 5 hour stream, and kind of
Yep,
got caught up in that whirlwind with us,
yep.
and we got
Then
people
did
commenting.
Vlogmas.
Yeah, and then Vlogman. So everybody's coming in. Please say hello to us. I got Brant Collins, one of the originals, the original guest host or host, co-host to the stream show. So I'm super excited to have him on with us tonight. And we're just going down memory lane to kind of get started because, I mean, why not, right?
All right.
Why not? We met, of course, 5 hour stream, and then Alicio and I were doing the Vlogmas reviews, right?
That was right. And then
So
someone asked if they wanted someone else to fill in, and
we
I
did it for two
volunteered.
weeks straight, and it was every night going live doing the reviews. And we was like, man, there was so many people in the community that's doing this. How about we get other people to come on and do it, and we could have a break?
Right.
And that's where you guys came in.
And I remember, I don't remember who was it?
Lemuel and
Limuel,
Kevin
uh,
Lyons.
Kevin Lyons. That's right.
And
We
the
did
three
it.
of you guys did it one night. I watched it. I was like, oh my gosh, these dudes are super smart. Like the technical advice you were giving people on that show to kind of help them with their setups and their videos was off the charts. I said, these guys are, man, I love what they're doing. I love, the information they're giving. And I said, let me just get in contact with Brant because we, of course, met earlier on in another show and we started talking about, just working. And when it came around to a time that I had an opportunity to do the stream show, I said, man, I can't do this without Brent. Like, he'll make this show happen. Like, in 2 weeks
Yep.
of us talking initially, we had the stream show up and running and monetized.
Yep. We did it. It was all fast and furious because I even think I'd already started a stream show channel, and I gave the name to the show, and we just went from there, and we just kind of hit it hard and fast, and uh, we got some gear. We got a few little, you know, mini sponsors, I guess I would say, and off to run we were. And we secured, my favorite one was we got Henny the business. That was one of my gets that I wanted to get as a guest. We had him on, and then we started getting a lot of other guests, and it was a lot of fun.
Oh man, I had tons of fun with the show, and super appreciative of the work that you put in to make it happen, because people don't really know all of the things that it really takes to start a show like this, from websites to logos to backdrops and videos, templates, scenes, all the things that we had to do in 2 weeks' time. Like, you just really knocked it out the park.
And we even had a 3D open. Remember, we had the 3D animation that we got from Doc's brother,
June,
um, June, and that was really cool. And it was all, like I said, it was all fast and furious. But then it was like everybody, it was hot right then, right? I mean, everybody was streaming and getting into the game, so it was a lot of fun.
it was tons of fun. Loved doing it. That being said, let's go to I have these things set up from last week. And I'm gonna leave that box right there, because we do have Kirk coming in a little later. But yeah, from the Arkansas salute, guys from Arkansas. There you go.
Yeah,
And this is a funny one. Who has the 50% Ecamm for my coupon? That's a good question, brother. If you can find
and
that,
I don't.
share it with me for sure. And then Tatiana says hello. Tatiana was on a couple of weeks ago, and we got to have her back. She was just excellent with all the information that she gave out. And G. Albert is old enough to know that there's ways to get the straight hair with the perm. I get it, sir. I get it. I just wish my hair would grow long enough so that I can get the perm in. Okay, that's what I would. That's what I would do. And Feel So Alive is saying hello to Tatiana. And Tatiana said, I can't believe you guys did it all in 2 weeks. Let me tell you something. This Brant Collins guy right here is a phenom when it comes to all of that type of work, the detailed work. And a lot of people don't really know like what it takes to really do it. But
Yeah, but I
you,
also had, I've been in 30 years, going on 30 years now in TV and media. So I had a lot of, I've been streaming since probably 2008 was my first show, called Beer Utopia. And I was streaming with a Mac laptop before Ecamm, before anything else. Back then I had to pay for streaming. So I'd have to get
right,
a sponsor. I'd have to get a sponsor, and then I would have to go. It was like $500 an hour, and then if somebody, if you had a really successful show, then the money started going up, or they'd cut you off, so you had to be swiping your card all the time. So it wasn't, it
wow.
was a little harder back then than it
You
was
was using like
today.
Wirecast at that time or
I,
something like
I
that?
was using Wirecast. Yeah, I was using Wirecast. So, but we did a live stream in 2008 for the Great American Beer Festival, because I had a show called Beer Utopia, and we got sponsors to go out there to Denver and do the show from a brewery. And we had just one camera at that time. I don't know that I had two, um, but yeah, it was a wild time. Picking up everything, flying to Denver, taking all your gear. I thought I was, rock and roll star. Had dinner with, had the Budweisers, and just thought this is it. And then the
Right.
recession hit, and things didn't go the way I wanted with my internet startup. But it was a lot of fun. I've always tried to recreate it, but haven't got there yet. So I'm still trying.
That's excellent, man. But a great history and great experience. And now you're currently still a content creator. You got to tell me
Hmm.
about your current job, and then talk to me about your business you started as well.
So I took a job when we started the show, I was a marketing director for a small credit union, and I was kind of stressed out about that job, COVID, some other stuff. But there was an ad for a content creator for the public library, and I thought, nobody really has. We all say content creator, but I never seen that job before, so I got the job and actually did the interview with the team there with my Ecamm set up with all the lights. I used to have all that stuff set up, and I got the job. So I've been there 2.5 years now. So every day it's not as much video as I, wanted it to be. I did set up a live studio, done some podcasts. But I'm with the communications team. So we do printing, we do social media, we do some videos. Actually, we did a TikTok, and It was around the Stranger Things. We did it in the
Okay.
library, and I actually won an award for that from the Library Association. And so we do a lot of fun videos, but do a lot of printing, do a lot of events. Um, and then I still freelance on the side. And then saw an ad in a couple months ago, even 12 weeks ago, I guess. We have a local startup community, or a startup called the Venture Center. So it's a startup accelerator. And they
Gotcha.
usually work with internet companies and fintechs, but they decided there was one for better known businesses. So I applied and they accepted me. And so I spent the last 12 weeks going two days a week to different sessions and different speakers. I had some consultants; they would meet with me once a week, and then it all accumulated into last week. We had a demo day, which all of the entrepreneurs and all the business owners, we had to get up and give a PowerPoint presentation at our local Chamber of Commerce, and then there was probably about 70 or 80 people there, and talked about ourselves, and had a big dinner after that, and it was all veterans. It was really a good experience. And then the Venture Center, their marketing team was really good. I got on TV twice. I got in a lot of the local business journals and things like that. So really, that's what helped me, was get my name out there. And I already had the logos. I already knew what Collins Media was going to be, and but I just needed to hone that message a little bit more. So doing that made me do it, because they would check with me every week, and
Right.
then just plus their team is connected. So it was kind of like being anointed, right? Like if they picked me, then I must be something, and people paid attention. So um, it's been pretty good. I'm doing a podcast. I'm developing a podcast for the Arkansas Department of Health. That's one of my biggest clients, and then I got a couple other clients. Actually, just signed a new client. They're a young African American couple, and I've been wanting to work with them for about a year. And we just signed just a small agreement to help them do some consulting. They called the Little Rock Lightning. It is uh, I wouldn't say amateur. What would you call it? Semi-pro basketball team. So,
Okay.
and it's just a really fun. It's just a young couple that he plays for the team, he coaches the team, he runs the team, and him and his
Wow.
wife, and they've been doing it for 5 years, and they just need to kind of break to that next level. So I'm going to be helping them with that. So
Just building
uh,
content around the team for them.
no, I'm just going to be consulting right now, just trying to get them, see what they can do different, some business development stuff like that.
I
So
got it. I
I've
got
been
it.
trying to do more consulting than actual. Same thing with the podcast. I'm really just consulting and teaching them how to do it on their own, and helping them go through production and setting up their gear, and um, teaching them how to do interviews, how to write interviews, how to schedule guests. And it was supposed to be a 6-month contract. We extended it for 4 months because we didn't get a
Wow.
lot done, because they thought it was easier than it was.
It's not that
So,
easy, right?
but when you go to the government level, then it was, there's everyone has to review it. I did the logos, pick the music, I kind of do the open, I did everything, but then I had to go through a committee, and then that gets kicked back. And, so the contract alone took 6 months to get finished, to sign, before we even started
Wow.
working. So, but it's been a fun project. So
Now, Brent, you've been in the business, the media business, for over 30 years now, and there's ebbs and flows in all of this. With the Ecamm fam, we have people from all aspects of how-to videos, teaching videos, just fun videos. But everybody is really trying to get traction in what they're doing. What would be some advice you would give to the Ecamm family, to some of the content creators that we have, in the vast array of the content they're making right now?
I would say the biggest one is to try to find a niche that, one, you enjoy, that you can do every day, because it's a lot of work to do this. The other one I would do is try to find something that nobody else is doing. There's so many. I see a ton of copycats, right? The next
Mhm.
Mr. Beast, or the next, you know, uh, especially when it comes to the coaching space. A lot of people just kind of regurgitating the same thing, same thing, same thing. I actually watched one of our favorite creators. I mean, you both like Potato Jet, right?
Yep,
He just went over 1 million
I saw
viewers.
that. I
Took him
saw
seven
that.
took him 7 years. It's not a overnight success on YouTube. So you have to have a lot of passion and a lot of patience and be able to, you know, I would say the biggest thing I've learned is don't chase algorithm, don't look for tips or tricks, just find what you want to do and do it and stay passionate and stay consistent and try not to get burnt out. So, um, and that's probably, just going to take a long time.
And that's what it is, right? I think that your experience from the technical side, from cameras and lighting and all the vast array of things that you can provide a community, I definitely appreciate you being a part of it and kind of helping us through even getting started with the stream show. Like that's a big deal. I think this is the third year. I'm thinking it is. I'm not sure. It could be the second year. I guess in
Yeah, I
2024,
guess
this would be the third year.
it'd be the third year. So you've been staying consistent, but we also, some of the things we did different was going on Sunday. Nobody was doing anything on Sunday. So we picked a
Right.
day that was kind of empty. Most of that was done on our schedules, right? It was the easiest day that we could do because of my kids having school and things like that. But, um, it's just, there's so much. I mean, you can get overwhelmed chasing gear, chasing quality, chasing, especially if you're like me, I live in Arkansas. There's cool things to do, but I've got a job and I've got kids. It's not like I'm on the West Coast with
Right.
access to Apple or New York and access to, you know,
You can't just
go test
walk into B&H, right?
right and go get doing live streams from Apple events and stuff like that. So you have to find. But honestly, some of the things I've seen interest lately is I help. One of the areas I work in a lot is agri-tourism, and there's a lot of local agri people here in Arkansas. There's a couple big YouTubers that are kind of like home gardeners that are doing really, really well. I know another young man that he has started out as like a small family food, um, food thing on the side of the road shed. Now it's a huge business. He's got a podcast.
Wow.
It's done really, and he actually came to one of my presentations and I talked about content and he's the first person I've seen to take everything I said and he just executed it full tilt. Now he's got a huge business, and the podcast, all stuff is part of it. So
Man, I love it. I love it. Making a difference in
yeah,
Arkansas. Let me do this really quick. I want to get back to the comments. I definitely got to say hello to George. I know I've been waiting to get back to you, but George, thank you for hanging out with us. And then Micah is here hanging out with us as well. Hey, man, thank you for coming through today. Today is going to be a really cool one. So Brandon's here with me today, and we're going to get a chance to, and of course, Kirk is on his way. We're going to get a chance to talk about research. So I want to start with this. And the cool thing about Ecamm is Brand, I'm able to go back to a video I did with Justin Brown a couple of months ago, maybe a month ago. And Justin explained how to do search for your topics. So I actually just put this video inside of one of my scenes and then went camera junkie. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. I just stopped right in the middle of what I'm saying just to shout him out. Like, I'm sorry. It is what it is, Brent. And I'm able to go to that scene, and then there's a button for you to say start where you last stopped. So
wow,
instead of having to edit this whole video and pull out the clip and edit it all, I'm just getting to where I want to start, and all I have to do is hit that scene, and I'll be exactly where I want to be. I think Ecamm is cool for that.
that's awesome. Anything that saves editing.
Exactly, because I didn't have the time to do it, and it was kind of like, boom, let's use the clip from Justin Brown's interview, and then we'll kind of break down some of the things that he's saying. So let me do it this way. Here's Justin.
Exercise, right? You don't have to actually go and search. What I'm saying is you want to get into the headspace of, and ideally before you make the video, I want to make a video on this thing. If I'm going to make this video and this is what I want to cover in it, what would people search for to find it? Like what type of thing would people be typing in if they knew this video was out there somewhere? What would they be typing in? And what you think is one thing, but what about people who don't have that industry speak, the tech knowledge that you do, that you're bringing to it? What is someone who's an absolute beginner, absolute 101, has never met or heard of you before? What are they typing in where your video would be a fit for them? We want to come from that place, because then we can start to show up for a much broader audience. And we've got some insight then as to who it is that's actually typing stuff in where your video would be a fit. But if we can work out what it is they're typing in, then it could even help you shape and guide that video so that it's exactly what the viewers want.
So, boom. So I'm able to go to the next scene. And when I go back, he's going to start exactly where he stopped at. But I want to start right there. All right. The first step to all of this, and Roy, man, thank you for hanging out. Justin is one of my favorites too. So that's why I'm having him on the show, right? And there he is. Donald Oliver. So I had to have Brent come on for Pastor Oliver to come through the show. But thank you for hanging out with us tonight. And he's saying hello to G. Albert. So thank you guys for hanging out. That being said, before you even create the video, the idea is to go and research the topic so that you know what type traffic is there, and so you can even be thinking about how you even going to title it and connect with the people that's there. Does that make sense to you at all?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, the algorithm, a lot of people are always trying to figure out the algorithm or cussing at the algorithm. All the algorithm is there to do is to help you find the content that you've been looking for. So, and that's going to be with keywords and what you watched in the past. So if you're looking at a lot of people who are watching this video, then you need to, closely mimic what those people will search for. So it's a lot of times it's not keywords like you think, especially with YouTube, it's a lot of how to, right? Because I do it all the time. How do I change the transmission in my car? How do I change how do I change the batteries in my remote control? Whatever it is, I can usually find it there by saying how to. So some of that would help too. But yeah, researching your topic, knowing what people are looking for, and how popular it is. If there's a lot of people looking for it, then that's something to go for.
So he's also saying here that regardless of how you would normally search, you need to figure out what your audience would search for. So this is something I heard from two people. Brad, we love quoting Doc Rock, right? But I've also heard this from the CEO of YouTube watching one of his latest videos, which when we talk about the algorithm, he says, hey, Aubrey, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. She's in the comments. He said that you should be thinking about the algorithm like it's an audience. So where you would say the algorithm is looking for this, say the audience is looking for this. That being said, in the topics that you're researching, how would your audience type this in, or how would someone type this in that they were looking for it, and not for their experience, not just for the experienced person, but for the person that may not know the keywords or may not know the exact words for what they're looking for?
Yeah, stay away from jargon. Stay away from things like, types of cameras or types of, inside baseball kind of terms, because they don't know those terms, right? So let's just say I want to make a crossfade transition. Maybe I'm just looking on how to do, I know it's a transition. I don't know, it's called a crossfade. What's it called when one goes into the other, So if they don't know that, you're trying to type that in, or to phrase that in a way where anybody, the average person, like, how do I get two scenes to bleed into another? Something like that.
Gotcha. Let's go to these comments. Let me say this, Grant. It's been months. I haven't seen or heard from Doc Rock. Here comes Brant to the show, and Doc shows up. Why would I quote you? We always quote you, Doc. You know what I'm saying? It's part of it. And do I get a check? The check that you get is the love that we show for you, sir. That's the check.
I just want to know if Doc. I just want to know if Doc's watching us through his Apple Vision Pro. So
I'm sure he is. I mean,
if
why
he is,
not?
I'm going to reach out to him. You know.
That's cool. That's cool. Why not watch me in an Apple Vision? I mean, Camera Junkie has done it before. I look
Yeah.
good on the stream show, like on a whole wall. Like it's better to see me on a wall. Okay. And here he goes. He says it's a cross dissolve. Crossfade is for DJs. But that's the idea. You may be trying to figure out.
No, then again, I would put crossfade and cross dissolve in the search terms, right? Tag it with that because some people might be calling it different things. Because it might be a DJ wanting to learn how to do video that knows what a crossfade is, but doesn't know what a cross dissolve is. So
There you go. There you go. I'm a DJ, and it's just go from one thing to the next. I'll say he got me on the TV. He's icing his leg. Hey, man, I did hear about that. Take care of yourself, and we're ready for that leg 3.0 so you can get around and keep up with the rest of us, dude. But definitely take care of yourself, and I hope that you recover well from your surgery, all right? And of course, Camera Junkie is hollering at our guy, Doc Rock. Thank you guys for chiming in with all of that. Let's do this really quick. I want to go back right now to the conversation I had with Justin, and we'll continue talking about all of this. Researching, how should it be done?
Actually run the search. It's about getting some insights as to what would you search for to find this video? And then what would other people search for to find this video before you make it? So then you know you're creating something that people can actually find. So this is help you then show up in search. Now, the next step is to go and see what those search phrases are by doing some keyword research and things, and see how many people are searching for those things every month. You can also gauge the competition, work out if this is a video worth doing. But that first step, I think, is the most important, because if you just make a video and throw it up there, it's very hard to optimize and to polish it afterwards. If you can take that stuff into consideration before you shoot it and think of it, what would you search for? Or what would someone else search for? With this video is going to be a fit. And look, an example of this would be, I could create a video on our channel, I think we have one, around color correction, a color correction tutorial, color grading tutorial, right? So some people would find that video, but they already have to know what color grading or color correction is to a point, right? So instead, if we titled that video, how to fix the colors in your video, same video, right? But what do more people need? They just want to fix the colors.
Right.
Or they want to make their video look a different way or something, right? So they might not know that technically it's called color grading or color correction. So they're not going to find that video. Right. So it's about taking that step back and saying, what would other people be searching for if they didn't know this specific thing, or if it wasn't technically called this? So I'm not saying just make beginner friendly videos. You might choose to make both or incorporate both. How to fix the colors in your videos, color grading tutorial, right? We could hit both. But it's about taking that step back and really thinking of the viewer experience. Everything on YouTube and growing on YouTube, you need to give the viewer a good experience. That flows through from your title, the thumbnail, the video, because all the algorithm trying to do is give the viewer a good experience. Right. So if we come from that place, then we can help YouTube get our content in front of the right people.
See, there you go. I mean, to be honest with you, he said exactly the same thing, Brant, that I would say.
Exactly. He probably would have. You would have said it better, but he said it first.
Yeah, but he said it first. I mean, and the same thing that we were talking about too. And this is Doc said it. Justin Brown is the man. Love that guy. He's actually put in the work over time to build a great channel. And what I like that he's doing is exactly what he talked about. He may make 2 videos. Changing the color and then color grading. So people that know what color grading is. I know that some of my best videos I've seen him do is the best of. All right, he'll do the best editing software, or he may do the best editing software for Mac. And those things, of course, people are searching that. How did I edit? What could I use to edit?
I know one I use all the time is trends. So I'll say, what are the color palette trends for 2024? What are the web design trends for 2024? What is the Pantone color for 2024? So once you find these trends, and you'll find tons of links to stuff like that. So that's how I search for things, when I'm looking for stuff. So if I set down a design website, I kind of want to see what's going to be, what's the thing for this year. So I'll look at all those trends and trend videos and lists of and things like that. So that's kind of where I'll start personally.
And which is a great place to start. I also want to say for people, I want to give folks a couple of examples. And of course, I have some more from Justin, but YouTube has its own research that you can do inside of the studio. So there are some tools that we will be talking about later, but let's just go with the free tool right now. You can actually look. Let's go even better than that. If you have a topic you want to do, you can actually type it into the YouTube search bar and see how it finishes your sentence. That goes into YouTube or Google. You can see like what the system is already will tab. I do that all the time too. So if I'm going to say I found a software that I like, a new application, I would put in that software application versus, and then see what YouTube will populate on the side as options for me to look at, because it's going to give me options I don't know about to say versus this thing. So I want to purchase this, but before I purchase this, let me see what some people may have made videos on that they can do a versus with, so I can see what they're saying about other products. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I think so. My day-to-day job is not just YouTube, it's doing marketing communications for not only the library, but for all my clients. And a lot of the times I actually gave this presentation the other night, and I said the number one thing that no one wants to ask is, who are you speaking to? So know your audience, right? So a lot of people just want to say, I want to do a video, or I want to do this. I've had Fortune 500 CEOs like, I want this, I want that, not knowing that, I actually had, someone, 70 plus say, I want to be cool on TikTok. And I was like, well, that was the whole wrong statement there. You're not on TikTok. Your focus group's not on TikTok. You need to be over here or over there. So trying to think about the viewer, what do they want is really, really the first place I would start.
That's true. That's true. Because again, I'm going to quote Doc, and I'm not going to send him a check. Your channel is not yours, it's the audience. Like once you built up so much and people are coming to your channel, your analytics, which Brent, you are the best at this, man. I really want to talk to you about like how did you go and look at your analytics in your YouTube channel, so you'll know what you're trending to and who's even watching you, because that makes a difference at all. It's the audience that you're catering to, and they would tell you based off of their watch habits what your channel should be about.
I mean, you can go in and look at everybody that watched your video. You can go deep to see who they are, what kind of channel they have. Let's say you have how to, you're doing one of these educational videos at the beginning. You might see that one person's watching all your videos and go look at their channel and see that they're very new, very, just into the game. Maybe they only have 3 or 4 videos. So you can start crafting they've already watched 4 of your videos, and now you're going to make 5, 6, and 7. Now you need to see, well, where do they need help with? So maybe you can start looking at all those different viewers and see where they're at in their stage.
Right. And how you titled that particular video, what the thumbnail looks like in that video. Those are 2 other things that really go into, like, once you make the video. I've heard it was a speaker at People Video. They actually made the thumbnails before the video.
Yeah,
if
I've
the
heard of people
thumbnail
doing that.
didn't look right, they wouldn't make the video.
Yeah, it just, like I said, I watched that video with Potato Jet on his 1 million subscribers. It said he just doesn't do all that. He just makes the videos he wants to make, that he has fun doing. And I think there's some of that that's important too, because I do feel like once you start chasing things, you lose yourself. And that's what I really fear, is there's a, I can't be, the world doesn't need another Doc Rock, right? And the world doesn't need another DJ Strick. You got to be the true and honest you and try to find how you can do this in a different way, because you might be able to explain that to somebody in a way that is more true to them than another creator. So just trying to mimic things or just trying to follow along with the guys or gals and trying to mimic Mr. Beast, it's probably not going to work. So be you.
But there's some
And
systematic things, Brent, that you could do or that are being done in thumbnails that are attractive. I mean, you're in marketing, right? You know what the color red does. You know what the color blue or yellow or green, like how that attracts people or repel people. You know, like we talk about.
But I'll argue with you one thing: if your video's crap, your video's crap.
No. So I agree 100%. You got to make good content, but this
Right.
is all before you even make the content is what I was talking about, having some systematic things together. You got to make good content, but sometimes what we're saying is that search to understand the title of your message and theme, topic of your content, and then how you do your thumbnail with, we said 3 to 4 words on the thumbnail. I mean, everybody's doing this. Well, let me point
I don't
towards
know
you. Everybody's doing this.
That changes all the time, right? I guess I've read 3 or 4 different research from different creators that I did this in every video and it didn't help, or I did this, or I did, Mr. Beast, all those guys have done different things,
Well, if you watch, and I think the creator, to be honest with you, he was actually making thumbnails for one of the other bigger creators. So
Right.
it is
Well,
different when you are.
you're really, if you're really going to go down that road, then you start doing A/B testing,
Right.
right? You got to start trying to test things to use some of these other tools to, like TubeBuddy and all these other things that let you do A/B testing to try different, picture where you point versus the picture where you don't point, title versus this title. So you can really get granular with all this technology and really, try it, but you do have to test it and come back to it and change. And, if you're not getting video hits after 2 or 3 weeks and you feel like, man, this is a great video, change your thumbnail, But what I always try to tell people, especially in marketing, is if change the video or change the thumbnail, let it go for a couple of weeks. Then change the title, let it go for it. Don't do all of it at once, because if you do
Gotcha.
all of it at once,
You never
you
know.
can't figure out what, right. So if you change the title and all of a sudden it kicks off, that's what I did wrong. If you change the image and it takes off, then that's what it is.
So let's go to the comments right here, Chris. There's a couple comments I want to be sure that I get. First one, versus is gold. It's a gold mine. Even before I buy something, I always do a versus search, and it's just cool to see what other people are saying about it when you do the verses. I really, really like that. And Roy's saying that is a Mr. Beast level of overthinking, and only someone like him could do that with a team. And what I am saying, Roy, is correct. He has a team, and one of the team members, that is what they were doing. And I'm saying this because I don't think it was Mr. Beast, but it was definitely somebody that was working with a very big creator. They were doing the thumbnails for that creator. And it was a whole process to making thumbnails, and the thumbnails will be made before the video was made. So great point to be made. That work could only be handled with Doc Rock. So there you go. And then Doc is giving us some points here. I purposely ignore all of those quick, gross YouTube tips. Yes, systematically, there are some must-dos, but I'm not, and let me go back to, I'm not gaming the system.
Right.
Okay. And I completely understand the gaming the system thing, because you want to be sure that you're doing the right things.
Here's a good example. I could tell you right now that January, the last week of January, let's see, middle of January, beginning of February, if I wanted to do a video and I wanted to game the system, I would have done a video that said, I'm quitting YouTube. everybody did it, right?
Right.
I mean, all the big creators. MBK did it, and he was talking. He used it to talk about how he wasn't going to do it, and most of them said they weren't quitting. They just used that
Right.
as to shock value.
Right.
So,
Right.
but like I said, is sometimes um, to me that is kind of gaming the system, but um, and some of that is just looking at the zeitgeist of what's popular. So, first of the year, I'm changing everything. I quit this. That was kind of a trend that it kicked off. Um, Same thing with Apple Vision Pro or whatever when that launched. So some of the stuff you can do is just be aware of what's going on in popular culture and try to figure out how to, um, you know, let's say you are doing a color correcting video and you are doing a color correcting and you're doing all that stuff. Well, maybe you want to do during the Oscars, you want to pick Oscar movies and say like, hey, this is how they did the color correction for Barbie,
Got
right?
you.
Or this is how they did the color correction for Oppenheimer. Though, because people are looking for those things at that moment because you have all of the power of the world media, focusing
Right.
on that right there. So
Right.
that's another thing you can do to find a video that you want to do, figure out how you connect it to what's going on right now in popular culture, and that could help you get found in putting that in the title because everybody's looking for that right then at that moment.
So let's go to Roy. Roy's also saying I've changed titles and thumbnails and gotten some additional views from older videos. So it is worth the effort from his standpoint of changing some of those things. I will say this. In some of my older videos, even when I had a series on my own personal channel, DJ Strick in Strick City, my thumbnails were based off of my show and the guest. And what I've learned is over time that Brent, man, people really didn't care about my show. They really was concerned with the guest. And it was
Yeah,
long format, but I should have did a better job of saying, hey, this guest was on and maybe a topic of what they talked about. Even with long form content, I think it would have been better. Does that make sense?
yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people just ignore all of that. So when I went to the library, I think when I got there, the YouTube channel was just being able to be monetized, and we haven't turned it on yet. But as I look through all the videos, it just became a placeholder for videos. And a lot of
Right.
people just use YouTube for storage of videos. They're not tagging them. They're not putting titles, video one, no descriptions, no, no end tag or no end plates, no next videos, all that stuff. And, that, and it was such a daunting task. I told everybody, like, we're not doing this right. We're going to have to figure out a plan going forward because really we just have a bunch of videos on our channel and they don't
Right.
relate to each other. They don't do anything. So back to what Doc said, those systematic things, there are some just good housekeeping rules. And I'm even bad about not putting the end, the end videos and the click here for the next video and putting in the tags and pointing to another video. And I'm just, we're all shooting ourselves in the foot if we don't do that, because you get busy, God, it gets edited. It took me, I'm trying to get it. I just upload it. I was going to get live. I don't do all the tags, so that, that, that really sucks. But I'll tell you another thing. I'm just for the last 2 years, well, I guess it's not 2 years. So I've been around a year and a half now, no, a year and 2 or 3 months. I pay my $20 for ChatGPT. I sit down before I start any video and I do a ChatGPT. Give me 20 titles on videos like this. Give me the tags. Give me everything that I need to do for that, and it'll give it to me. Right? Find the most search term. You can use AI to help you, and AI is going to be integrated. Well, they're starting to integrate it into YouTube. They're starting to integrate it
Yep.
into Canva. So use those tools. I'm not ashamed of it. I
It's
do it
there.
all the time. I do it all the time. We had a speaker come from Austin College to talk about AI to the library staff, and my boss said I had to be there because I was the only one. I was so into AI. But I ended up talking to the guy, and he was great, and we were, used the same tools, had a lot of the same, listened to his podcast. So, at that point, it helped me to be the AI nerd on staff. But I use it every day, and I suggest everybody it's worth the $20. start before you even start your video, go through ChatGPT, but don't go with the first thing it gives you. Say, give me 20 ideas for a video about color correction, right?
That's true.
So,
That's true. I use it for a lot of stuff too. I think that there is no. This is something I've been saying for a long time. There's no way that you should not know an answer to a question, even if you don't know the answer to the question.
right.
You know why? Because all of us are walking around with these phones that could tell us everything that we need to know. Okay, whether it's Google, Siri, you can find any answer to any question just by using your phone. They're calling them smartphones for a reason, right? And now there's some things that ChatGPT can do that can help us. Now, I tell people all the time, like, you want to know what you don't know, but you also want to be sure that what is giving you is information that is correct. Because if you don't know what you have there is not right, you're going to mess up, and you just want to be smart about that. I always tell people, I think the thing that's going to be next is people understanding prompt writing. Like there's probably not using AI, but using AI effectively in how to write prompts. And prompts
there's already jobs for prompt engineers.
Yeah.
That's already a new thing that's happening. But I do think that I actually helped somebody write a business plan in about 30 minutes with ChatGPT, and I said, you could do it. She said, she was super nice. She said, no, because I didn't know the questions to ask. So because I've been doing this for such a long time, I knew exactly what to ask to get what I want, right?
Can I give you one, Brent?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I just watch a lot of this guy's content all the time. And he did a show on AI or ChatGPT and how to use it. And this dude was like, I want to do that. I want to write a business plan. Could you ask me the questions? This is Doc, right?
Yeah.
Ask me the questions that you need to help me answer this question or to build this business plan. So if you're not a good prompt writer, ask ChatGPT
to write the prompts for you.
To ask, it'll help you write the prompts. So, but you're saying, hey, I want to build this business plan. What questions do you need from me, or that could you ask me that I can give you the information to help best build this business plan, and let it go to work, and you answer the questions.
So actually, writing prompts for AI is kind of like writing descriptions and titles for your YouTube videos, right? You have to be very clear and very precise in what you're asking, or you're going to get something totally different, especially if you're using some like Mid-Journey like I do. If you ask for, if you're not very specific on what you want, you're going to get something really crazy.
There you go. Let's go through some of these comments really quick, Brent. I want to do this real quick. Geek Like is shouting you out, man.
What's up, Geeks Live?
It's good shouting to see you out. Here's Doc saying, use chat to summarize and write descriptions for you. Those are better than none. It is so true. It is so true. And
because we're still, now let's just go back to this. Talk about this though. As much as you want to think your thumbnail is sexy and how it looks, AI and bots, bots and Google and ABC Corporation that owns YouTube, which is the second largest search engine, they're not looking at thumbnails yet. They are starting to look at videos. They are starting to look at some image things, but text is what is using for search. So putting all that description is so important in your videos. Putting all those keywords, putting those titles in.
I always tell people.
I'm guilty of that. I wouldn't put a description for a long time when I first started.
And now we don't have an excuse, right? Because you don't have to write it. And I always tell people that, a lot of folks don't read descriptions, but the computer does. Google does, right? Google does. Yep. Roy says, trust but verify whatever AI tells. It is great for ideas, but not always awesome for facts. So you definitely want to be on top of that.
And it doesn't do math well.
It does do math well. Okay. Yeah. So AI is awesome for idea generation, which is true. And go through, he says, go through your back catalog and fix your descriptions. One of my students redid a few classes those videos are getting 15% growth with new descriptions and thumbnails. I like that.
I like that.
So Doc is like he's really into prompt engineering for the last year, and he's got some tricks. So we're ready to hear more about those tricks.
We'll
I
do a
use
prompt
a
show.
building blocks techniques. Okay, that's what's up. So I guess he's saying his building block technique, and Doc, correct me if I'm wrong, you start with one prompt that you get answers, and from there you ask for another prompt building off of the information that it already gave you. Because I know that I do that a lot. So I'll start with one question and then go to the next question, but I'm all in the same thread, hoping, with AI connecting all of that thread into one. Do you ever do that?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing I found with AI is kind of like it's kind of like making a copy of a copy, making a copy of a copy. The more I cycle a copy, it gets worse. So it doesn't get better. So sometimes I have to dump that, especially in like Midjourney if you're doing a generative artwork. But even for prompts, it's like if it starts going sideways, it's hard to bring it back to center. So I just have to start all over again. But
Gotcha.
I think that if you're really, I mean, I have notes and copy and paste of stuff that I like. But if you were going to say, I want to do, I want to do a video channel like Doc Rock, and but I want to do with a different flavor, blah 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 blah. It would tell me, it probably knows who Doc Rock is. It will sit there and tell you that Doc Rock does this channel, does that channel, and then what I do is I upload my resume. I've made my own custom bots with all my information, so it'll tell me, my strengths. You should go this way, or you should go that way according to your, So I try to teach it everything about me. So I use it, and I'll tell you a secret. I did, I bid this podcast contract for the state. I used ChatGPT, and I probably made 10 times more than I would have made by doing it on my own.
Man, that's awesome.
Because I have a habit of underselling myself, right?
Wow.
That only take a couple hours, or, I just put all of the RFP in, put in all my rates, and I let it figure it out for me. I made adjustments as I thought, but it helped me do better, because I probably would have cheaped myself out. I do that all the time.
Now, Brent, I will say this, and I'm going to transition really quick because I want to talk about what happened this week with AT&T, and we'll get back to doing some research because I haven't talked about any of the other tools, and it's getting close to the end of the hour. So we're going to talk about some of those other tools. But by chance, are you an AT&T user?
I am.
So have you gotten an email or the text about them saying them sorry? Kirk, how about you?
I have
AT&T user?
Everybody's passing it around, but I haven't got it.
So I've got the email and the text today, them saying they are sorry for the interruption in service. So, hey, I could take that, company saying they're sorry. Now, there's a whole bunch of conspiracy theories going around about what actually happened. Like, we don't know what's going on, but hey, it is something. Kirk, man, thank you for coming through to hang out with us tonight. And you're on mute here. You're on mute. Yeah, it's not connected. Yeah, you think you got it? You got it?
I got it.
There you go.
It should be coming now. Sorry about that. Yep. Sorry about that, y'all.
You're good.
Yeah. Crazy
David
day.
is saying some familiar faces here. Yeah. We got like this is something real cool. David, man, thank you for coming through. Kirk is in the building, hanging out with us tonight, and we got a lot of people hanging out. And hey, sometimes you just gotta throw the right reverend into the set, Doc. He's asking how'd you get into business.
Of course. Of course, I listen. I always like to come and hang out with the people. But listen, hey Brent, man, it's been a long while, man. I've been keeping up with some of what you post online and stuff, so
Oh,
that's
thank you.
been pretty
Yeah.
cool. But yeah, man, it's good to see you back in the saddle. What's going on? What's going on, family? I see a lot of you guys in the chat. 19 of y'all on the live tonight, man. So excited. Oh, man, anytime Doc Rock comes through, it's always a grand time.
I
So
told Brent that it was because of him.
It was.
Doc
that
even
Doc
is
came,
watching
right?
tonight. If Brent wasn't here, Doc wouldn't be here. Mr. Camera Junkie. Camera Junkie is hanging out with me though. He'll come through.
I,
And I appreciate that.
I have to apologize though. So like my stream shed is completely empty. So I stripped everything out. I have all my gear for going out and doing gigs for other people.
Oh,
But I have
wow.
I have a daughter in college, and she, she's in journalism at the University of Fayetteville, and she came home, and I sent her with my, all my cameras, microphones, everything, so she could start doing her stuff. So that was an excuse for me to buy something new, but I haven't bought anything yet because for the first time, I've been in this business for 30 years. I get to go to NAB in April, so I'm
That's
excited.
what's
Oh
up.
wow. Yeah.
That's what's up. You got to do some video while you're out there and send it to us so we can kind
I
of
will.
show it on the show.
I'm excited to see. I've never been. I'm excited to. I actually am going early on the Sunday. They have a huge creator conference basically on the Sunday before NAB, so that should be a lot of fun. So
That's what's
That's
up.
awesome. That is
Yeah.
awesome.
So
NAB's on my list, man.
We've
Yeah, it's
deep
been on my list
dived
too.
into a lot of the research stuff. We talked about a bunch of the research things and how to do it, where to do it, from Keywords Everywhere, which is Justin Brown's preferred website to use. But Kirk, I want to talk about a couple other things. So as people watch this show, they get into an hour of it, and we hadn't talked about any of the other tools. But of course, you have TubeBuddy and vidIQ. So I've talked about you can do the search on YouTube. There's some analytics you can do on your own channel through the YouTube Studio.
Yeah.
And then
And they're trying to make that a little more robust. They've really added a lot of functionality and features to it. But the more they add to it, is the more you're going to get out of platforms like TubeBuddy and vidIQ, because it just kind of gives them even more granular details to pull from as they begin to track some of these other metrics and KPIs that you help us to know what are some of the things we need to be looking for and how we can really leverage the information that we already have there. Because the language of success is the language of analytics.
right.
Some people say you don't need to worry about that as much anymore, and I don't know, maybe there's some truth to that, but here's what I can tell you unequivocally is that it doesn't hurt. It can only help, right? It can only help, and it can be the difference between tripping and falling into success, or actually coming up with a repeatable process for success. So even as we share some of these tools, y'all, this is where the value proposition is basically ensuring that you have this methodical process that you can follow to be able to have a defined outcome. Because at the end of the day, man, I get a chance to coach folks on a regular basis, and it is not fun having a couple 100,000 subscribers, but can't figure out what exactly is working and what's not working. So that's been very interesting. And hunkering down and looking back at the data, but looking back at your experiences, doing some testing, throwing some things against the wall, seeing what works, what doesn't, particular to your audience, particular to your niche. All of those things are good. But Strick has shared two tools that I think definitely must be a part of the conversation: TubeBuddy and vidIQ. And let me say this for those who are like, "Oh, I'm team red, I'm team blue." Guys, they both are really great platforms. And I know a lot of people who use both in tandem. Now, that may not be your story. You may not have that kind of budget, so you might need to choose one, but they are both really great platforms, and they kind of focus slightly different areas of the business. So just want to put that out there as well.
But
it's good for people to be aware of it.
Yeah, and if you're serious, I mean, if you're a hobbyist, great. But if you're serious and you're really trying to make this, business, invest in those tools, because you're right, they can help. They take a lot of the work out of it that you would have to do manually, that you should be going and doing something else. So use the tools that are there. If you add it all up, and you should run it like a business. You should have, this is your cost that you set aside for subscriptions, and that's just part of the subscriptions. You're going to write it off at the end of the year. So, use all of the tools you can.
Absolutely. I see David saying he just started using Ecamm again after a little bit of a break, and he's like, holy cow, it's come a long way, bro.
I put up the wrong one. This is Doc talking about what he uses for research. Doc is funny,
I knew it.
man.
I knew it too.
He is
He's
funny.
got that Hawaiian voodoo magic out there.
That's it.
So that's
no, but I was just gonna say to David, man, I have not stopped using Ecamm, and even I sometimes will pull up an update and be like, what in the world did they add now? So trust me, I can only imagine what if I'm using it daily and you're just coming back after a little bit of a break. I can only imagine what it feels like to be like, man, they've really added the kitchen sink to this thing. It's absolutely
And I
awesome.
also see Doc and David are both going to be at NAB, so I'll look you guys up. I would love to.
Very jealous of you right now, Brent.
I gotta meet Doc in person. That would be great.
Very jealous of you right now.
Have you not met
Brent.
Doc in person yet?
Nope. I didn't
What?
come to the big thing in Boston that you guys. I'm busy working, man. I'm trying to start a business, work 2 jobs, raise kids.
I'm working. I'm pushing. I'm wearing the Creator Camp T-shirt today.
That's what's up.
People have been asking me all day, what's Creator Camp? So it's been really good. But now I'm very jealous of you, Brant. Even though you didn't get a chance to go to Creator Camp, I've been wanting to go to NAB for a very long time. Let me say it that way. I know it sounds like you have been as well, because you said this is your first.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for you, but also jealous of you.
I'm very lucky in the fact that we have this beautiful big building. We have 14 branches in our library. We have this huge building downtown. We have a movie theater. I mean, it's a really great piece of property. Right. But I took a little bitty study room and I used Ecamm to build my streaming studio. I had to move all of that because we just moved out to a temporary building because we are just started demolishing that building on the inside. So we're completely doing it from the ground up. And I've been working with the architects there, and we're going to get a full-fledged TV studio at the library. And my goal is to make it a full-fledged live production studio for anybody to come in and use. And if I get my way, I might have to raise some money and do some grants, but I'm in talks with View Technologies to do a small LED volume. So probably won't be for another 3 or 4 years, but that's my wish list. So I'm going to do a lot of research for that project and also for my own projects.
Nice. I love this comment from David. I think that's a great way to use both, is to ensure that you're using them in different browsers. Really good point right there, David. Thank you so much for sharing.
So guys, we I can't miss this one. And this is Doc being a guest on the show from his couch while he's watching television, right?
Basically.
The most important tool for creators right now is your email list or mailing list ConvertKit, and the likes will save data as well as money when Facebook yanks. And he's talking about yanking the groups from access to those groups and breaks folks while their whole business. So, we always kind of talk about this. And then he also says that a channel with no email list is like a Lamborghini with no gas, and we completely agree with all of that. Agree. Like
so good, so good.
We're renting space on these other social media sites, so they can do what they want to as the landlord. So always thinking about how you can have your own space, your own website, your own email list, and being able to control your audience is a big deal. Building an audience, and the reason why we're doing this show, Kirk, remember we had Justin Brown on, and with Justin, he talked about researching those topics before you actually go live or you build your video. And I just want to be able to share the research tools that you can do, or the idea of researching those topics before you actually go live, and how you can do that through a lot of great tools that are out there right now, so people don't miss it. Like, you can randomly say, hey, this is an idea I have and I want to talk about it, but how do you title it?
How do you title it?
You know, what are you putting on your thumbnail? Like, what actual words go on your thumbnail? Whether
Uh,
it's you pointing or anything like that,
but
what are you going
all
to put on there?
but all that research makes for a better show. What am I
Exactly. You have
what am
more
I talking
information.
about? What are the questions? Who are the guests I need to cover this topic? So, there's just again, so I've been working on this for the health department, working for a podcast. All they want to talk about is teach me how to edit, teach me how to edit. The young lady that's working there, and I said, I can teach you that in 5 minutes, right?
Hmm.
But we're bogged down in production. I said, you gotta who's your guests? What are your topics? Who are you gonna talk to? Oh, I hadn't thought about that. So nobody wants to talk about in all of video production, advertising, marketing, big budget, small budget. Everybody
Hmm.
wants to be, man, that's what camera you using? What's this? What's that? Nobody wants to talk about production. You gotta
Right.
set up the interviews. You gotta make the calls. You got to
So
do the
important.
research.
So
So
important.
that part is the video is the easy part. That's Strick. You go live with
Just go
tools like
live. You just
Ecamm,
press the
right?
button.
Ecamm with tools like Ecamm, all these tools, it makes it easy, but you got to do the work on the back end to make the front end better and easier.
You know what made me better with some of my back end stuff with
Me
interviewing
working
and
with
setting up guests? Yes, reminded me. Yeah, so I never have to worry about Wi-Fi anymore, Brant. So nobody was there to tell me to get off Wi-Fi to go through internet like you used to. But I had a guest that basically when they came onto my show, it's like, Strick, man, you just told me that you reminded me today that the show that I said yes to was today. And they were doing it jokingly, of course, but it reminded me of, number one, I was a guest on their show and how they had their reminder set up and all the stuff that they did. So I had to come up with a new system of making sure that people were reminded of when they were on my show, several notifications so no one ever forgot or felt like I didn't inform them of their agreement several
That's
times
right.
so they'll keep up with it.
Something to be said for those systems, man. Something to be said for those systems for sure.
Hey, when you're a solo entrepreneur, you've got to use those systems, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
Look
doubt
at
about it.
like my wife. It helps me on some stuff, but most of the stuff I'm working on my own, so I have to have my own, tracking the billing, the tracking, the taxes, the business. So you got to use those tools. It'll make it way easier, unless you want to pay, accountant and all those other things. But I'm
That
not
is so
I'm not
true.
there yet.
So do me a favor, Brent. Talk to me
Mhm.
about people are hearing you today. You're back on the stream show hanging out with us tonight. How can people keep up with what you're doing?
You can go to collinsmedia.co. That's my website. Not a lot of podcasting stuff yet, or not a lot of blogs and stuff like that. It's pretty much just a static page where because I'm going to a big conference tomorrow actually for tourism. It's one of the things that I focus on because I did so much work in tourism. My Facebook page, Brent Collins. I shut down my Twitter account, so you can't follow me there. I'm kind of LinkedIn is kind of the place I share the most. So you can look me up at Brant Collins on LinkedIn. And I am starting a new Ko-fi page. I don't even know what it is. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't even know that I have it. It's the Pocket Studio project. So I bought
Okay. Okay.
the new 15 uh, after much debate, and I bought some gear to go with it. I'm a filmmaker, and I've always wanted to make films. Actually, we just purchased it's used, but it's an amazing camera, and a Sony FS7 Mark II, which is for professional jobs. I have a Sony FX3 at work. I have all the tools I want, but I'm trying to limit myself to make this film with just my phone
Gotcha.
because
Oh
I
wow.
do it by myself. I just have ideas that I've wanted to do. I'm using ChatGPT to write them. I'm looking at doing the Pocket Studio project on Ko-fi to see if I can start a group there, the 1,000 True Fans. That's kind of been my personal goal, was that 1,000 True Fans, to make a living off of doing what I want to do, because I've been doing OPP forever, other people's projects.
I got
And
it.
so I'm trying to focus, because that in the film community, there's a ton of mobile only film festivals.
Okay.
And now that this shoots, full res, you know, 422 ProRes to an external drive. I can edit. I'm gonna do it with this. I'm gonna edit on my iPad Pro with LumaFusion, and I'm just gonna try to stay super mobile, super tight. Use AI to write scripts, to do designs. I'll probably pull in somebody to help me with some 3D animation because I'm a sci-fi guy and I want to do some really short. So I'll act, I'll direct, I'll shoot, I'll edit. I've done the 40-hour film festival twice. That's where my passion is, and I'm not trying to I'm not trying to become Tarantino. That's what I wanted to do when I was young. I just want to do it for my own fun. I'm not going to put too much weight on myself. I'm just going to have fun and experiment, and hopefully other people can come along and learn, and I'll start a group. And, once I have enough up there where people can actually pay and get something valuable, I'll probably turn on some sort of membership. But, right now my day is, consulting other people, working on other people's marketing, other people's advertising, other people's commercials, I got a guy called me the other day. He wants to, he has a YouTube channel he wants to start. He wants me to help him with the studio and setup.
That's
so
cool.
I got to do something for me. So,
yeah, I know that feeling, man.
That I can just take some time and but I'm going to go old school. I'm a maker. I like to make props. I'm doing 3D printing at work. So I'll
You
make
have
props.
your hands absolutely full, Brand.
Oh yeah, I'm busy all the time, and on top of that, it's like we work. So back to our internet went down at work for 2 weeks. We got hacked. So we were trying to make everything work at the job without the network. So I was having to help connect printers and help get jobs done without the network. And then as soon as we got the network back, AT&T went down. And then you shared that picture.
Oh, AT&T.
Leave the world behind.
Yeah, leave
and
the world behind.
As soon as you shared that picture, my phone went. And so
wow.
I was just like ready to go home. I'm like, I'm done.
Hey,
so
listen, you never know what's coming.
Last couple of weeks have been rough, but we get through it.
I want to say something to David Forrester, man. I'm super excited to see you in the community, man. Excited to see what you're saying right there. Says he'll be working with Ecamm ecosystem for the foreseeable future, so he'll be active in this amazing community. So we're excited to have you, man. You are a wealth of knowledge as well, so we're excited to have you join us and be active in the community as well. Doc, you always come up with some really cool points, man. I gotta say that 5-word limit for a thumbnail, that's gold. That's
he actually
gold.
added a word. Like in the past, he would say 3 to 4. So he's giving people a pass because if you try to get 5 words on a thumbnail big so people can see it, that's a lot of words. So
it's a lot of words.
He added one trying to be easy on people, and he's actually sitting with Karen watching this. So shouts out to Karen. Thank you for hanging out. I'm sorry that he's making you watch this tonight. Like you guys could be watching something else. She thinks you look like Deion Sanders.
I was like, listen, you are definitely giving. Shout out to Karen. Okay, Karen was always my favorite.
How do I look on TV?
Maybe it's the glasses. I don't know if it's the beanie. She says I look like Deion Sanders. I don't know. Coach Prime in the house. Let's go.
There you go.
I'll take it.
Hey guys, y'all know how much fun I have doing the stream show and chit-chatting with you guys. We can go on and on and on talking about some of this stuff we got. But that being said, we got to leave some for next week because we have Walter Jeanette coming to the show talking about his experience as a content creator. And this guy, Kirk, I don't know how I can explain Walter other than saying he is an entrepreneur, content creator, a graphic artist, he works like with a church doing their media setup.
Media minister,
But this guy has a combination of skill set that's different than a lot of us. All right. He has a great eye and he knows how to explain. He can communicate well. And you guys can't miss next week because I want to share everything he's doing with you guys. And he had an opportunity to sit down with Chris Do and do a whole weekend seminar with Chris, man.
That's crazy, man. I love Chris Do is awesome. I just bought his book, Book of Dough, and that was
Book
really
of Dough.
cool. Yeah. So
That's he listen guys, man, you come through next week. Walt's gonna he always brings heat. I call him a force multiplier. I think you add
like
Walt
that.
to anything and it's gonna be exponential. That's what I like to, that's how I like to call Walt. So definitely come through. And generally speaking, he just drops a number of gems and truth bombs. So I had him on the coaching corner, and Strick was in the comments, and he knows
I was working and couldn't. I had to stop what I was doing because of your guys talking. I'm like, I love this.
I was just like, what is going on right now? So yeah, and I he has some strong opinions as well. I think strong opinions are something that we need more of. Let me say it that way in society. So I'm excited that we're going to be able to have him come through and hang out next week.
The Stream Show next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys can check us out. Yes, sir.
No, I was just saying, I can't believe February is coming to a close. It's crazy.
Yeah. This is the last Sunday in February. Got a couple more days left. Is it a 29th day this year?
It is this year. Some people are having their third birthday, even though they're 30. Yeah.
Strick's still 30.
Yeah. Well, actually 29. 29. I don't turn 30 until not this year. Next year I turn 30.
This is you guys are going too far now. No, I'm just joking.
Hey, I want to see you guys next week, and of course we have several shows inside of the Ecamm network you guys can check out. So tomorrow, Anna and Fulgence. Man, you got to check out ENN News.
Definitely.
They have so much information that they talk about that they can share with you, and I don't want you to miss that. So, again, next Sunday, the Stream Show. Brant Collins, thank you for coming through, sir.
Yes, thank you for having me.
I loved it, man. This is what I'm talking about. You got to love the Ecamm fam. Hey, this is DJ Strick, and I would like to thank you for watching another edition of the Stream Show.